there's the back glass. I mean, it's a Stars back glass, so it has the usual. It has, you know, wear, whatever. Stern back glasses typically wear pretty badly for whatever reason. Here's my Junker 9-ball playfield that I use to pilfer for parts. Good to have if you own old Stern games, as the parts are not always the easiest to come by. But here you got, just assessing it, the flipper coils are not the right flipper coils. Wrong value, coil value. You got like the bracket, one is missing a screw. The wiring here, the clip is not installed because this is actually, either it was cut and they took too much off, or I'm also thinking this needs to be turned around. They should actually, it should be facing this way. I think that would take care of that. Also, I looked at these sockets, and you see like this resistor. Like, what the hell is that? There's like these resistors soldered all over the place to the CPU controlled lights. What it is the at least one of the previous owners must have been an LED guy, and on these games, if you put LEDs in them, they just flicker really badly. So one of the ways you can fix that is with resistors, and that's what he did. Put resistors everywhere. The thing is, I believe I'm going to put incandescents back in, and I believe the resistors won't cause any issues. If they do, I'll just rip them out. I'm not going to have LEDs in this. But then you got this. I don't even know what's going on here. It's on both sides. From what I can gather, you have here, this is not the right socket. These games would have came with a socket like this, just one tap. 2-tap sockets are the kind that would come with a game with a lamp matrix, which this doesn't have. My guess is that this has some kind of, like, I don't know, shrink wrap or something over it. Maybe they didn't have a soldering gun, so they just like spliced into wires. But the thing is, they screwed up what's supposed to go where. I mean, if you come over to this side, you got this one that's correct. See, it's got the power comes in, and this is actually, it's daisy chained because this is the in-lane light. It daisy chains over to this in-lane. The in-lanes are in pair, and same thing with the out-lane lights are in pairs, in a pair. Because if you look at the out lane, well, here's the wires coming up. See, same thing. They're basically, they're just, again, no, didn't even bother with electrical tape. It's just wrapped around there very nicely. I actually ripped off one of these things. It's just a mess. Then over here, here's the other end that's supposed to go, it's supposed to go here to the outlane light, but instead it's just kind of hanging out here. It's gonna barely reach anyway. I'm probably gonna have to extend that. It was probably cut too close. And they just went into the in-lane light and went off. So now these would be in together with the with this one. And this one is kind of on its own. It's just screwed up. I have no idea what the deal was. Maybe they couldn't get the right socket and then they didn't have a soldering iron, so they did it that way. I don't know. Alright, the rest of it looks okay. I mean, you have this coil here that's toasty brown. Gonna have to test that. I'll probably replace it even if it does test good, just because it's toasty brown. And then you got like sheet metal screws going through here, which is wrong, which means these holes are probably stripped to hell. Have to see. Got more tape. I don't even know. My guess is they couldn't solder well, maybe, and yeah, it actually feels kind of loose. So I'll have to look at that coil. So it's probably going to be some coils replaced and hacks removed. Overall, though, it's not that bad. There's nothing on here that can't be fixed, and the stuff that needs to be fixed, you can get all the parts readily. Unlike the chime unit and like the knocker assembly. So that is the STARS project. So we'll do another part when I've moved along a little bit on the project. I'm going to need to find a knocker assembly and a chime unit. So that's going to be fun. Until next time, goodbye from the arcade.